Okay, so this is video number 4 in our series to build a Web3 website. We got the main portal properly developed in ReactJS. We did some nice cool styling. We have to start enabling functionality from the website in ReactJS to Web3. So the first thing we have to do is we have to build a JavaScript function in React that will trigger an action once the user hits the connect wallet. Okay, so once we hit that connect wallet button, the expectation is to have ReactJS query the user's browser wallet. In this case, we can use Metamask or we can use Trust Wallet for this purpose. And once the user hits the connect wallet, it will prompt the wallet to connect to the user. We will first build the configurations, but there's one thing that we have to build that we will do in the following video, which is building the smart contract. That's very important because we need to retrieve information out of the smart contract so we can then call those functions inside our connect wallet instruction or function. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I am going to share the we're going to connect back to the server, and we're going to start coding the function that allows the users to connect their wallets onto the Web3 site. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so now that we have we got the mint portal ready to go, one of the things that I realized is that we have some letters here and they're in white color. We have to change that to be black. So let me go ahead and fix that real quick. So let me go back to the wallet address. Here we go. And let's change this to be black. Okay, so that should do the wallet address. There you go. Now we got it in black color. And let's also change this to be black, because we changed that to white and that was an error. So let's fix this and change this to black. Okay, so I believe we actually don't need to have a styling because the default will be black. So let me go ahead and delete this. Let me go ahead and delete this. Okay, let me save it. And perfect, awesome. So we got that fixed. Okay, all right, awesome. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of JavaScript in ReactJS. What we need to do, we first need to import the Ethers library and the Web3 library. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. What we need to do first is we have to import Web3 from Web3. And we already see here the Web3. Okay, so we have to import Web3 from Web3 because we're going to use this particular module, so then we can configure our Web3 parameters. Okay, all right, so once we're done with that, we want to start building the connect wallet function. Okay, so let's go ahead. Now we can go ahead and build that function. In JavaScript, we have to build an async function because it has to be outside of the main application function. The reason why is because it's something that not necessarily will be triggered the moment we open the website. It's something that will be triggered by the end user, so it has to be async with the compiling. So we have to trigger a manual instruction to compile that. Once the user logs in, that will not be compiled unless the user clicks the connect wallet, right? So if the user clicks the connect wallet button, it will then trigger the async function that we have to build. So what we are going to type is the following. We have to type async, right? And we have to say we want to call this async function, and then let's call this function to be connect wallet. Okay, we are going to build a parenthesis right there, a clause, and we want to set a try. Right, in a sync function, we do a try, then we start configuring inside the clause. So we have try. First thing we have to do, if window Ethereum, right? Then Okay, so let me explain this. So what will happen is if try, if window.ethereum, meaning that if I'm able, this is a very common, or this is a base trigger, so the browser can execute a call to the wallet, right? If it does find that there's a wallet associated, then it's going to proceed and execute the commands that the instructions that we are going to code below this. So it needs to allow this, or it needs to match the if window.ethereum, right? Then do this, okay? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna create a variable called web3. Inside this variable, then we're gonna say a new web3. And you see here that I am calling this because this is the module that we want to use, right? So we're basically using that module, and then we are saying window.ethereum. Okay, so what is that going to do? Basically what that's going to do, it's going to say, hey, if there is a wallet, or if there is a communication, that if you're able to see that there's interaction between the wallet and the browser, then go ahead and build this variable, and we're going to build this variable, we build this variable. Inside this variable, this is the action. We are calling the module, which is web3, and then execute the communication, right? Web3 basically has the module. Inside the module, there's instructions that will trigger certain functions, so then it can start interacting with the wallet, okay? So with that said, okay, now what we need to do, we need to await, because I need to await the response from the wallet, right? Then we want to say ETH send, or in this case request, request accounts. Okay, so what is that? Basically, the request accounts, it's going to send a request to the wallet. Give me the account that is in that wallet. Give me the address of the wallet, right? And we are going to await the response from the wallet itself, okay? And once we set that request accounts, next thing we got to do is we got to store whatever output we get, or whatever value we retrieve once we execute or trigger this command, right? So in this case, we're just going to say accounts. We're going to store that value in this variable, which is accounts. And then we now need to await the response from the wallet to give us what address is associated to that wallet, right? So this will be the reply from the Web3 connection to React. What React will do, it's going to await the response from this command, and it's going to store this into accounts. Why we need this? Because I need to grab the wallet ID, so then I can execute the command. So let's say someone logs in, executes the connect wallet, gets the wallet address, and now I can interact with that wallet, and I can say, well, if you want to buy NFTs, then it does the transaction using the wallet from the user, and so forth. So we're triggering what we want to do with that wallet, right? So with that said, let's go ahead, and the next thing that we have to do is we have to store the account and grab the first value. This could be an output of a lot of accounts. In this case, we're just doing a wallet connect, so we're retrieving a wallet ID, a single wallet ID. But in case that you're actually using this command to retrieve a list of wallets, let's say you're building a whitelist and you need to grab a list of wallets, then we need to say, well, I only want the first wallet ID, which in this case is the only wallet ID because I'm just doing a connection to a single wallet, right? So with that said, all we have to do, and we have to specify that 0 is the first number, or in this case, the first wallet in the output. So in this case, it will be the only wallet. That's a single wallet. Okay. What do I need to grab out of that? We need to document, and this is a JavaScript command that will allow me to store the output as text. Why? Because I then want to grab that output and I want to show that on screen. So let's say the user connects their wallet. I want the output of the wallet, in this case a wallet ID, to be shown to the user on the browser, so then they know that they're connected. Like that's a way to tell the end user, hey, your wallet is connected because it's reflecting your ID on the dashboard. Okay. So let me type element ID, and this is basically the command of how you can grab that information and convert that to an output as text. Okay, wallet address. This will be the ID that I will store that output into, and I'm going to show you something that we did on the previous video, but now we're actually using that value, right? So I'm going to show that in a second. Okay, so the next thing I got to do a text content, because I want to specify that is a text value into the account, right? So what we can see now, it's basically account equals account 0. Whatever output I get from there, it's going to be here. But then I want that account to be stored in this element. And I can grab this element and call it on the HTML, so then it's displayed on screen. Where is that? Remember when we configured the class, the card class in the website, right? So what I'm expecting is where it says wallet address, I should see a wallet ID below it. So once the user connects their Metamask wallet, what's going to happen is below the wallet address, it's going to show the wallet ID. Why? Because that's what I'm actually specifying here. In the card, I have an ID of wallet address. So what's going to happen inside the card is going to show that wallet address. Okay, and you're going to see that once we connect their wallet, we're doing the interface, you're going to see the wallet reflected on the website. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, awesome. So far, so good, right? Now we were able to connect the user wallet with this function, but now we need to do some instructions. We need to allow the user to purchase our NFTs. So once we build a smart contract, we can then allow the user to interact with the contract and buy NFTs out of it, okay? Next thing that we have to do, speaking of contracts, we gotta create that contract instruction. Contract is gonna be new. We're gonna create this new contract function called contract. Then we are executing a new connection, and this will be the Ethereum blockchain or the Ethereum call, in this case the smart contract call, right? So this is basically part of the Ethers JS function, and this is part of the Web3. So Web3 basically wallet. Once I'm connected to the wallet, then use the Ethers JS to then start talking to the contract, as we mentioned in video number 1. This is basically how the wallet interacts with the blockchain. So we're telling, hey, use the Web3 connection that you already established to the wallet, but now we're going to execute Ethereum commands onto the contract itself, right? And what am I gonna interface with on the contract? We are going to interface with the ABI, and the ABI, we mentioned that that's basically the set of instructions or the set of interfaces and or functions that I do have on the contract available for me. So then I can use that to trigger, transfers, mint functions, burn functions. There's so many, and we'll discuss that on the next video. I'm just gonna go straight into the contract, and we're gonna build that quick smart contract. Okay, so ABI basically what it does the interface to the contract. So it's basically giving the ReactJS web server the list of commands that I have available in that smart contract, or the list of actions that I can trigger, or functions that I can trigger on the smart contract. So I'm telling React, hey, this is the list of functions that you have on the smart contract. And so React is aware of it, right? Okay, and then finally, address, right? What's the address? The address of the smart contract. Because I need to tell the Web3 Connect handler, hey, this is the address that I want you to interface with. So it's going to go to the blockchain, and it's going to try to trigger an ABI. Basically, is any ABI that we give, any instruction inside the ABI. And we're going to code a couple of instructions so you can see them, because we need to, mint, that's a function and all that. And that's part of the ABI. And we're going to trigger an instruction to the ABI, but to the address of the contract. And we got to point the address variable to the contract ID itself. I am not going to do this on this video because we still need to build the contract and we need to mint the contract into the blockchain so we can interact with it. So I will be actually building the whole contract and minting it. And once we get the contract ID, then we can create a constant and store the value of address inside the contract. Okay, awesome. Perfect. What's next? Once I establish that contract connection, I am going to document, and I am going to remember, because I want to get some output out of it, right? I want to store some stuff, so I can show that to the end user. I want to get element. Oops, my bad. So this will be get element by ID. So it's by this one. Now, mint. I want to tell you what's mint in a few. Okay. On click. Async. This is an instruction inside an instruction, or this is a function inside a function. What are we doing with this? We are basically saying when the user hits the mint button, remember we coded that mint button? Let me show you the mint button again. When the user hits this button, I want to execute the set of commands that I am about to code inside this async function inside. So it will be expecting a click from the user to the mint button, and is going to trigger the list of commands that I'm going to specify here in order. First command, we're just going to create a variable, right? And then we want to retrieve the amount of NFTs that the user wants to mint. And remember, we gave the opportunity to the user to mint up to 5. So in this case, we are expecting the number of NFTs, right? So we are going to say number document and then query selector, right? Inside the query selector, then what am I expecting? I am expecting a name equals amount. Okay? What does this mean? And then finally, let me add this value. Okay, what does that mean? It means that I am going to grab the amount, right, of the tokens that the user wants to mint at the same time in one transaction, and store that as a value, and that value will be stored in the variable called mint amount. Where is mint amount? Mint amount is one of the ABI functions that I do have available inside the smart contract. So this function right here is something that is available in the ABI. In the next video, you're going to see that, because I'm going to work with the contract, okay? Next thing, what we're going to do, we're going to create another variable, but in this case, it's going to be a mint rate, okay? And I'll explain to you what that is. Wait, right? We're also awaiting because this is a response, so we need to wait for that. And then we're going to say call, and we're going to close this statement. Okay, what is min rate? Min rate means give me the cost to mint, and the cost will be calculated with the Ethers module. It's basically going to grab the gas fees and all that. It's going to create that mint rate, so then we can calculate that at the end on the transaction, okay? So I'm just literally talking to the contract. I am triggering a method. Method is cost, and call that cost. How do I know all the functions that I have available on the Ethereum Ethers.js? I'm going to show you that right now. Let me go ahead and open the browser, and let me search for Ethers.js. And let's go to the documentation. And what is Ethers? Then once you go to Google, do a quick Google on to what's Ether.js, and then you are going to see the functions that we have available to interact with the smart contract, right? So let me go into basics. By the way, let's go here. Connecting to Ethereum Metamask, then you have a very similar, we see here the window.ethereum. So then you can see basically that we're using those commands to interact in our ReactJS application, okay? But what I was going to show, it was the fact that we got those values that we have available for us to interact with the smart contract. On the documentation inside Ethers.js, you can see all the commands that we have available in case you need to do something specific, right? So we can see, interactions with the contract itself. So you see all the functions that you can call, right? So in this case, we got, methods, we got utils. But yeah, you have that documentation. I suggest you go through it. There's way more information. We're just hitting the tip. Like there's so much stuff here, okay? So let's go back. Now we have the mint rate, and we said, we call the contract. That's one of the functions in Ethers.js, but then I'm gonna call inside the contract, I'm gonna call the methods, and I'm going to retrieve the cost. And I want to call that. I want to call the cost methods from the contract, okay? And then we're gonna store that in the mint rate. Okay, let's do the following. Variable, in this case now, what I want to do, I want to grab 1, the amount of tokens, 2, the mint rate, meaning the current rate in which I need to pay gas fees, plus the value of the NFT itself, okay? Now we're gonna say total amount. And by the way, the mint rate includes the value of the NFT. Where do we specify how much each NFT is worth? On the smart contract. On the smart contract is where you actually say the mint rate, and we're going to see that on the next video. The smart contract will hold the value of the NFT, so that's where you specify how much each NFT will be worth, so then the users can mint, okay? So that will be retrieved from the smart contract. So this basically, it's me telling React, hey, grab, using the Web3 connection, grab that value of that NFT, and then it just goes to the smart contract, reads what's the value that I configured on the smart contract when I minted it, and then it's just going to store it here. So then we can use that to calculate the final value, so the user knows how much he needs to pay to get an NFT. Okay. What am I going to do? I'm going to do a calculation formula here, which basically what is going to do is going to multiply the rate with the amount, which basically it's what we need. We need to calculate the rate, meaning the value of the NFT times the amount. Simple. Like if you buy 5 NFTs, that's 5 times the value of each NFT. It's simple math. Okay, so in this case, let's code this, which is going to be mint rate. Yeah, so the first one is going to be mint rate, and then the second one will be the mint amount. And the moment I do that, you're going to see this turning on, because we're basically calling both functions. Okay, and then we're going to close this. Okay, so now I got mint rate, mint amount, and sure enough, this turned on. So now it's been, that variable has been called, is being used. Okay. Now that I have the total amount, because this is basically a simple math, I'm going to store whatever output or result of this into this. Now I can use that total amount to execute the transaction. What's the transaction? Simple. Contract, right? Methods. And instead of cost, it's going to be mint. That will be the instruction, right? I am going to mint, okay? And that's a function inside the contract. Now, what am I going to mint? From the account, in this case, my account, right? And I am going to get the mint amount. This is the amount of NFTs that I want to. And I want to send that from the smart contract, okay, from what? Account. And I'm going to say value. And value, it's the string value or the numeric value of the total amount. What is that? It basically is that I am going to tell the smart contract, give me an NFT, and tell the wallet how much it is to get it. And then the wallet will have a pop-up saying, hey, you need to transfer X amount of Ethereum or whichever crypto are you using to retrieve an NFT, okay? Or to get your NFTs. Like basically that's the sale, okay? And then we got total amount, right? Let's see, total amount. Okay, I closed that down. And now finally, we have to say, if the user doesn't approve connecting the wallet, then give me a console error, or then I can tell the end user, hey, you must connect the wallet or something, an error like that, okay? So in this case, I'm just gonna type catch, and then we're gonna say EX, and we're gonna say here console, because I just wanna get a console log if there is a situation in which the end user doesn't trigger the connect wallet, okay, or does not approve the connection to the wallet. Yeah, so basically this is closing the initial the try itself, then this is closing the connection to the window Ethereum, and basically this is closing the mint function. We all made mistakes, and one thing that I realized, I was like, why this is not turning on as a variable? And it turns out that I am just calling the same variable here. I'm missing the S. Why? Because I need to retrieve the value here. From Awake Web3 EtherGet account, I gotta store this into the accounts, or else I am not gonna be able to read out of there. So that was missing here. There you go. Now it's turned on. So now it's good to go. Okay, we are going to cut it short on this one because what I need to do now, I had to build a smart contract. We got to build a smart contract because I need to connect the smart contract to the website, right? I built all the JavaScript commands that we needed to build in order for us to interact with the smart contract. This is what you see here, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Web3 interaction. This is a Web3 action on a ReactJS server. Basically, connect wallet and get some tokens. Basically, buy some tokens. That's literally all there is to, okay? What do I need to do with this connect wallet button? This function, I gotta call that in the button itself. So let's go ahead and do that. How do we do that? Let's go to the button, right? And what we are gonna do here, we're gonna say on click, right? And we're gonna say equal, and we're gonna call this inside the parenthesis, on click, connect wallet. And that's it. Okay, so now this has been called inside the on click. Boom, now it's turned on. Awesome. So when someone clicks the button of connect wallet, what is actually happening, it's going to trigger all this. It's just going to go try to establish the connection, the Web3 connection. Once they establish the Web3 connection, it then starts triggering all these functions, right? Alrighty, awesome. So let's code it there. On our next video, we are coding a smart contract and interacting the smart contract to the website. We are going to build that Ethereum smart contract, and once we have the smart contract built, we are going to connect that smart contract to our ReactJS application. Boom, awesome. Alrighty, if you like my content, please don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up, okay? Alright, see you in the next one.